Hello and good day. My name is Lamarcus Wingate, and on behalf of Aim Ahead, we will be showing you how to perform a chi-square test using RStudio. We will utilize the Medical Expenditure Panel Survey to examine the association between poverty status and the presence of diabetes among adults within the United States. Now, let us look at our objectives for this session. We will begin with a brief overview of the Medical Expenditure Panel Survey, which is freely available and is a worthwhile source to obtain health-related information about the U.S. population. Next, we will discuss our research question and the variables we will use in this particular example. And in the next section, we will show you how to perform the chi-square analysis in MEPS. In the final section, we will provide a brief summary of what we have discussed. The Medical Expenditure Panel Survey allows analysts to derive nationally representative estimates of the non-institutionalized U.S. population. The survey collects data on a myriad of factors, including respondents' utilization of healthcare resources and the quantity paid for various medical events, including the type of payer. It also collects information on the types of diseases respondents have and their self-reported satisfaction with the care that is rendered to them. For our research question in this example, we have two variables, both of which are categorical in nature. Our independent variable is the respondent's poverty status, and the dependent variable is whether or not the individual has diabetes. The analysis is restricted to adult respondents who are at least 18 years old. Now, let's take a closer look at our variables. So, poverty status is an ordinal variable with 5 levels, ranging from individuals who have an income less than 100% of the federal poverty line, who are said to be poor, all the way up to individuals who have an income above 400% of the federal poverty line, who are said to be high income. On the other hand, the diabetes status is a binary variable, meaning the person either has diabetes or they do not have it. We will utilize several packages in the course of this chi-square example. Remember that if you have not installed these packages before, you will need to install them prior to loading them for this particular session. You're probably already familiar with the dplyr and tidyverse packages. The MEPS package facilitates easy importation of being able to access the MEPS data from the MEPS website. As we will shortly see, the sjplot package is one that will assist us in performing chi-square tests and producing resulting output in one step. So here we show how to be able to import the MEPS data using the read MEPS command. So this is a very convenient command which we can utilize to import MEPS data from various years. Because there are so many different variables within the data set, in fact over 1,400, we only want to select certain variables that will be included within our current analysis. This is easily facilitated with the select command. For your convenience, we have included a link whereby you can access the code book for MEPS for this particular year of 2022. So here we have two primary variables of interest. The POVCAT22 variable contains information on the respondent's poverty status, and the Diabetes XM18 variable is meant to gather information regarding whether or not individuals who are at least 18 years old have ever received a diagnosis for diabetes. In our next step, we utilize a table function to obtain the frequencies for each level of the poverty status and diabetes variables. When we look at the code book, we realize that the missing values depicted for the diabetes variable essentially correspond to respondents that did not answer this question or it was not applicable. For the poverty status variable, we can see that the frequencies range from approximately 1,000 for the near poor category to over 8,000 for the high income category. In our next step, we proceed to create a new variable for diabetes status that has a more informative label. We make use of the mutate function to create a variable where previous values of 1 are labeled as diabetes and previous values of 2 are labeled as no diabetes. We code this mutate function in a way such that all of the negative values are not included in the code, so they will not have an explicit value in the new variable. We can use the frequency function here, the frequency function, to compare the values in our new variable with those seen from the table function. Now we go on to performing the chi-square test. We use the filter function to select only respondents who had some type of valid response to diabetes. This means they responded to the survey and indicated yes, they did have diabetes, or no, they did not have diabetes. In the next step, we apply the chi-square test function to actually perform the chi-square test. So it is very simple. We just have to enclose the independent variable and dependent variable in parentheses. The chi-square test statistic and corresponding p-value are conveniently provided for us. The p-values here are significant, which informs us that there is indeed an association between an individual's poverty status and their likelihood of being diagnosed with diabetes. It may be useful if we have the actual number of people who fit into each possible category. So we first create an object from our chi-square test, and following this, we apply the observed function to our object to display the frequencies. When doing so, we see that there are between 189 to 7,529 people in each cell. Finally, we'll demonstrate how we can perform a particular type of function that allows us to derive the chi-square test statistic, corresponding p-value, frequencies, and a formatted table all in one step. This can be performed with the tab_xtab function, which is a part of the sjplot package. Remember that you have to install this package if this is your first time using it. Here we have provided the code for you, so when you perform this in your next iterations, all you have to do is supply the variable names, and then also too, you can substitute in a different title. Now let's summarize what we have learned. The MELP survey is a freely available survey that facilitates analysis of multiple research questions and topics involving healthcare. Before we go about performing a chi-square analysis, we may have to clean our data, and part of this is dealing with missing values. The function in base R to perform these analyses is the chi-square test function. However, there are additional features that can be incorporated with other packages. On behalf of Aim Ahead, thank you for watching this presentation on performing a chi-square analysis. We have some exciting hands-on activities available for you in Codio. Have a nice day.